You're here because you want to learn how to play the support role in Hell Let Loose. Hell yeah, this game needs more people like you. If you subscribe to my channel, then you've probably heard me talk about how damn important garrisons are in Hell Let Loose. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, well, then get on it, soldier. But seriously, garrisons are everything in Hell Let Loose. And guess what? You ain't building any garrisons without supplies. So it's fair to say that support players are one of the most important roles in the game. So first, let's take a quick look at the standard issue loadouts for support players. Each faction gets 2 frag grenades, 3 bandages, a supply box, a hammer, and either a knife or a shovel. For the US, you've got the M1 Garand for a primary weapon, while the Germans get the Kar 98 and the Soviets get the Mosin Nagant. Now let's take a quick look at the loadouts you unlock once you reach level 3 support. For each faction, you get the same items in your loadout as the standard issue loadout, except the frag grenades are replaced by a small ammunition box and an explosive ammunition box. The primary weapons are also swapped out for an M1 grease gun for the US, an MP40 for the Germans, and an SVT-40 for the Soviets. As a support player, it should be quite apparent that your main function is to support your team. No shit, SoulSniper, it's literally called support. Yeah, I know. But support doesn't just mean dropping your supply box whenever and wherever you feel like it. As a support player, you need to work closely with the other roles who depend on you for supplies. This is mainly squad leaders and engineers, but sometimes anti-tank as well. In order to work closely with these players, you first need to learn each of their role icons. You're going to need to find these players quickly and frequently throughout the game, so you should know what you're looking for when you pull open your map. It's best to memorize these icons to make this process second nature. Any squad leader who's watched my Ultimate Squad Leader Guide knows that one of the main priorities when the match starts is getting a garrison, or ideally multiple garrisons, built in friendly territory. These garrisons cost 50 supplies to build and need to be built within 50 meters of supplies. So you need to coordinate with your squad leader on where they want to build the garrison so that you can make sure you drop your supplies within 50 meters of the desired location. By the way, you can tell if you're within 50 meters of a supply box by hitting T on your keyboard to bring up the HUD or holding the right D-pad for consoles. If you can see the supply box icon, then you know you're within 50 meters of them. Now sometimes the squad leader will know exactly where they want to place the garrison.
Okay, my squad, I'm heading to my move mark. I'm going to put a Gary up on call.
Other times they might be unsure or ask for your opinion. So it's not a bad idea to be studying the map and coming up with possible garrison location strategies once you spawn in at HQ.
Wellington, you want to get a garrison down north of the point there?
For a deeper dive into garrison placement strategy, check out my Ultimate Squad Leader Guide, which I link to in the description. In some cases, your squad leader might not have any plans to build a garrison at all. It could be that they're new, or maybe they just forgot about it, or they're assuming someone else will do it. Sometimes they just need a gentle nudge. Try saying something like, "Hey squad leader, I've got a supply box here if you want to link up and build a garrison real quick." Hopefully they respond and take you up on your suggestion. But if not, you might be better off using local chat to try to coordinate with another squad leader who knows the importance of building garrisons. Since supplies are such a vital resource to your team, you need to have good situational awareness throughout the entire match. Always be thinking about who might need your supplies and where they'll likely need them placed. Just like the squad leader, you have responsibilities above and beyond just killing the enemy. You should be keeping an eye on your map in order to understand how the battle is unfolding and where your supplies might be needed. Did your garrison just get destroyed? Drop what you're doing and work with your squad leader to build a new one. If you notice enemy tanks becoming a regular threat, link up with an anti-tank player and build an AT gun. Does your commander need resource nodes? Find an engineer and give them supplies to build nodes. We'll talk about nodes in more detail in a bit here, but first, let's go over some basic mechanics of how supply boxes work. It's important to know that you can only have one supply box down at a given time. Once you put down a supply box, it cannot be moved or picked back up, and there's a 5-minute cooldown before you can place another. There's a cooldown progress bar in the inventory slot for the supply box. Once it fills up completely, your supplies are regenerated. If your first supply box hasn't been used before you place a new one, it'll be replaced by the new box. You also don't regain your supplies if the structure that was built using your supplies gets dismantled, so be sure to make them count. To place a supply box, just equip the box and then look down at the ground. You'll see a semi-transparent outline showing where the box will be placed. You can rotate the outline using the E and Q keys if you're on PC, or holding the left bumper if you're on console. Once the outline turns green, you can place the supplies by holding left click on PC or aim on console. Building a garrison in enemy territory requires 100 supplies, and a mistake people sometimes make is thinking they can drop 50 supplies and then wait out the 5-minute cooldown and place another 50 supplies to get 100 supplies total. But since each supply box you drop replaces the previous one, this isn't actually possible. However, what you can do is put down your 50 supplies, then switch switch roles and have one of your squad mates redeploy as support and place their 50 supplies, which gives you 100 supplies total. Now, let's circle back to building resource nodes. There are 3 types of nodes: manpower, fuel, and munitions, and each node type requires 50 supplies to build. With a 5-minute cooldown between each supply box, you're looking at a 15-minute time commitment to build a full set with an engineer. But there's actually a way you can cut that time commitment down significantly. When a support player gets within 50 meters of a manpower node, it cuts the supply box cooldown in half, taking it from 5 minutes down to just 2.5 minutes. So if you have your engineer build the manpower node first, you'll be able to get the fuel and munitions nodes built in half the time. Nice! By the way, you should always try to build nodes inside the first friendly sector, because when you lose a sector, any nodes within that sector are destroyed. By placing your nodes in the first sector, you'll always have at least one set of resource nodes, even if you lose all the other sectors. Each engineer is limited to building one full set of nodes, however your team can have up to 3 sets of nodes, so it's a good idea to try to work with other engineers outside your squad to get more nodes built. Also, don't forget, you have a hammer in your inventory. You can and absolutely should use this hammer to help get structures built faster. If you're using the level 3 ammo carrier loadout, you have the added ability to supply your teammates with ammunition, so you should keep this in mind as well. If you've ever played anti-tank, you know that bazooka and Panzerschreck ammo is limited, and explosive ammo boxes are hard to come by. It can be very frustrating to miss a tank, or to have your round ricochet off the tank, and then watch it slip away while you scramble to find more ammo.
I need explosive ammo.
Yeah, me too, brother.
If an enemy tank is giving your team hell, try to stay close to AT players and put down your explosive ammo should they need it. They might be the ones who everyone applauds when they take out the tank, but the AT player knows who the real MVP is. Another tip I have regarding ammo is to avoid placing it near your garrisons. Anyone who spawns in from a garrison is already going to have full ammo, so it makes more sense to drop ammo closer to the front line where it's needed in the heat of the battle. Support is a selfless role that requires less emphasis on frontline combat and more of a focus on being in the right place at the right time to provide your team with valuable resources. Support players are like the offensive linemen of the team. They're absolutely crucial to allowing the quarterback to do his thing, but they're rarely recognized for it. Having been an offensive lineman myself, I know it takes a certain sense of internal pride and belief that what you're doing is important. That's how I think of the support role in Hell Let Loose, and you should too. Alright guys, that's all I got for this video. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. And for more content like this, check out my tips and tutorials playlist. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.